Hi guys, my name's Ryan and this is my lovely wife Priscilla.
Hello.
We are here today to share with all of you our infertility story. We felt really inspired to share it this week because it's National Infertility Awareness Week. We've seen so many great videos online. People have been tweeting with the hashtag Start Asking, and we thought, you know, this is our chance to share a story that's almost 4 years in the making, and there's something that's near and dear to our hearts and that we've been struggling with in relative silence the entire time. So a little bit about us first. We met in New York City. We moved to Chicago afterward. We lived there for about 6 years. It's where the start of our infertility story began. And now we live in Brazil. We moved here this last October. Priscilla's originally from here. I'm from Wisconsin. And so that's where we're making the video today, and it's where we're in the process of seeking treatment.
Yes. So Ryan and I have been married for 8 years, and we tried for a baby for almost 4, like he said. Our initial 4 years of marriage were really fun. We just really wanted to have fun, be ourselves, be a couple. We traveled, we did wonderful things together. And 4 years later, we felt ready and we were like, okay, great, let's try for a baby. First step was to go to my OBGYN and get an IUD removed. I had an IUD at the time. And once we got this IUD removed, I talked to my OBGYN about a little concern that I had, that prior to birth control, my periods were never right. They were never in sync, they were never regular. She didn't seem too concerned, and she just said, you know what, you guys, you're young, go just have fun. And we did. We tried.
We went for it.
We tried for almost a year without success because my periods weren't regular again. We couldn't really chart. We couldn't chart ovulation. We couldn't chart. We had no idea. It was just crazy, a crazy time for us, and frustrating as well when we didn't know anything that, anything that was happening to us. So we went back to the OBGYN and I kind of pressed her for answers or for a solution at the time. So her first response was to refer us to a fertility specialist. So we went ahead and saw a fertility specialist in Chicago. We went to the clinic and they first did a series of exams on me. When I sat down with the specialist, she asked me a few questions based on my feedback that the period wasn't regular. So she asked me if I had any signs of weight gain or if I had facial hair or acne. The answer for these questions led her to believe that I could potentially have PCOS. To confirm the diagnosis, she sent me to have a vaginal ultrasound and blood work. The vaginal ultrasound showed a series of small cysts, which are actually in fact follicles or eggs that are not growing to normal size, and the blood work came back with a positive sign of PCOS.
So after the diagnosis, right away we were given the opportunity to proceed with treatment. And the very first thing they did, though, before beginning was to check our insurance. And they ran it through, and little did we know at the time that because of the infertility diagnosis, our insurance company would cover nothing. Like absolutely zero.
Zero.
No exams, no treatment, no nothing. And we were just shocked and
frustrated at the time, because you think you have health insurance, that infertility is a disease. But we knew that we're coming to Brazil just a few months later where I have insurance. So we thought that this was going to be a good opportunity to have yet another consultation with my OBGYN here in my hometown in Brazil.
It was a little bit redundant. I have some of the same tests all over again, but when you're in that sort of a position where your American insurance won't cover anything, if you have another opportunity, frankly, another avenue, you take it.
Yeah, so we came to Brazil for a vacation. We had a lot of fun, and I took the opportunity to see my doctor and go through a lot of exams and to get more answers to our questions at the time. And Ryan also at that same time had a spermogram done. Do you want to talk about your spermogram?
I don't know if they want me to talk about my spermogram. Needless to say, it came back positive. So we at least knew that I was ruled out as an issue, which in this sort of situation, it's great. You know,
Oh, yeah.
you can cross one off the list, and now we can, you know, focus back on you.
Right. And my diagnosis of PCOS were then also reconfirmed with the vaginal ultrasound, which showed again small cysts, and the blood work that showed an imbalance in hormones. She prescribed 6 months of Clomid to us. After we went back home to the US, I waited for my first period and started taking right away.
And we had 6 months worth of it, but you didn't take 6 months all at once. It was, we made it 2 or 3 months through the treatment, at which time, like, Priscilla's body was just having a really difficult time with it.
Yeah. It was hard. It was hard. I suffered a lot of the side effects. I had tons of hot flashes. I had headaches. My stomach didn't feel right. I took 3 months in a row suffering the side effects, and then I told Ryan I need to take a little break. And that by that time was summer, and I just wanted to feel okay and have my head in the right place.
Yeah, you learn when you're going through this sort of a process that fertility is not something that you can just bang through, right? You can't just do it all in a couple of months. It's so full of challenges. They're like, you don't know how a person's body is going to respond to a particular medication.
Absolutely, yeah. So the second round, the same thing. I took yet another few months of break, and then a year had gone by, and the 6 month supply had come and gone. In the meantime, during the entire process, I was taking OPKs twice a day. I was taking my basal body temperature every day. I was charting everything I possibly could. I was following my my fertility with apps on my phone, you know.
I would come home and she'd have a notebook and she'd be like, look at my pee sticks. She'd have them all taped inside of a notebook, and it was the date and the time, and she'd show me the app, and it was, you did such a good job with it.
Thanks.
But none of them ended up coming back positive.
No.
In all of that time, it was such careful log work on your part, but it just didn't amount to any success for us.
And that's also very mind-numbing, because you're going through a process that, you know, in your mind you understand that you have a problem, but that process should be natural, right? Like you love your husband, your husband loves you, and you want this you want this so badly, and it's just not natural. So after a year of going through Clomid and all the charting and absolutely zero results, we were quite devastated. I think it was not only frustrating, but it was very, very devastating. Insurance wouldn't cover any extensive fertility treatment. The Clomid hadn't worked at all for us, and it was a difficult time. For me personally, and I know for Ryan as well, but you know, speaking for me, I knew that I always wanted to be a mother, and that was a huge, huge goal for the future for me. I really went through the 5 stages of grieving, and you know, first I felt denial. I felt like, you know, it wasn't, oh, obviously this is not me, and you know, I felt all the signs of denial. Then I was very angry at why my body was betraying me. Why is my body not working how it's supposed to be? And you know, we feel like, as women, at least I felt like this as a woman, I felt that my body wasn't doing what it's supposed to do, which is, you know, carry a baby or you know, create a baby.
Yeah, start a family for us.
Yeah. So after a long grieving process, a very long grieving process, I finally came to acceptance. And acceptance at the time was to decide, after acceptance, I had to decide what I wanted to do. Would I want to go through heavier fertility treatment and feel the further side effects of fertility drugs, or would we go into a totally different path that we had never thought about until this day, which was adoption? And adoption sounded like a beautiful solution for us.
It felt like a weight lifting off of our chests when we started to talk about it, when the conversation happened for the first time. We started to read about it, domestic adoption and international adoption and foster to adopt. And in the midst of the process, I separated from my employer in Chicago. And it left us thinking, you know what, this is an opportunity for us to do anything we want with our lives. And we had for a long time talked about living abroad. It's something that I had always wanted to do. I'd always wanted to learn another language, and we knew that Brazil was a great place for us to do this. Priscilla has family here, of course, and after a lot of thought, you know, we decided, you know what, let's do it. Let's make the transition. This is a unique opportunity, and it would give us the opportunity to pursue adoption outside of the United States. So over the course of that summer, we sold everything. We became awesome eBayers.
Pretty much.
We got rid of the TV, we got rid of the car, had a lot of this stuff on Craigslist too, and suddenly we had nothing left except what we could fit into our suitcases and into our duffel bags. And the two of us and ZZ, who you'll meet, he's our Cocker Spaniel. We all left Chicago. We love ZZ. we drove straight from Chicago to Miami, and then we flew from Miami to Recife, and here we are.
And once we got to Brazil, we thought about domestic adoption within Brazil. And we learned, not for our benefit, that even though it's possible for us to adopt, but because of Ryan's citizenship status, wouldn't be in the preferred list of couples. Even though international couples are allowed by some laws to adopt children from Brazil and move outside of Brazil with them. It's just not an easy process.
Yeah, Priscilla's a citizen and I'm not. I'm a permanent resident of Brazil now. So we would have been on the list, but not anywhere near the top.
So we just decided to go ahead and look into fertility treatments, and we were ready. I think it has been a while since we gone through our first experiences with fertility drugs, and now we feel more ready than ever.
We're in a fortunate situation where Priscilla's insurance covers a lot of the examinations for us, and we just decided right away, yeah, we can do this. We can absolutely tackle this challenge together.
Yeah. So at this point, this brings us to today.
Yeah, we're back here to present day. 4 years in the making. So this brings us back to today. We are working with a fertility doctor, a wonderful doctor that we both really, really like. Yeah. We had more blood work done, more ultrasounds done. Ryan had yet another spermogram to confirm that nothing is wrong with him, and he's free and clear, thankfully. And we are now in the midst of our fertility treatment. We've done one cycle with injectables, and that didn't work, but it's okay. It's just the beginning. Yeah. And we are starting our second cycle very, very soon here. We know that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and that it's going to be a beautiful child, and that we are here in a beautiful place. We're having adventures. I'm learning Portuguese, and we hope to share a lot of that with you all as well. You know, share our fertility journey, the fact that we're having it, you know, in South America, a continent away from my home, and it's just a special time in our lives. So we're happy to be going through it, and then to be sharing it with you also.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, I know this was a long video. Thank you for watching until the end if you did. If you have any questions, please leave them below in the comment section.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, we really want to make this a very interactive channel. We want to make a community out of this. We know that a lot of couples suffer with infertility, like we've been suffering for almost 4 years, but there's hope, and we are excited and we're positive that, you know, that we can do this, and we can do this together. Subscribe to our channel.
Please like us, please subscribe, and keep the questions coming, and let us know what kind of videos you would like to see. We'll share a lot with you here from Brazil. And next video is coming up soon. We've already got a little something in the bank for you, so we will talk to you again real soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.